Over 50,000 years, we went back in time and we came to the Ethiopian Mosi. Here we see the brothers here with the feathers on their head that we still see on their temples of Kemet. And here we see the brothers here are still one with Manechu. That's why we call the land the Kui land, the spirit land. And ancient Kemet said this was the land of God. And let's go back to the oldest people and stop looking at them as something's wrong with them. Down to the dawn of time in this area right here where I was able to get with the hammer. But what's beautiful about the hammer, as I observed from my empirical observation through my research, I was able to see how the culture of the Kushite culture, the Kushite kemetic culture, came up from them. They're the ones that migrated down the Happy Nile, called the White Nile today, and also the Atbar, and also the Blue Nile. Now when you look and see some of the indigenous brothers in the southern part and sisters in the southern part of Ethiopia, here that was later looked at as the feather of Ma'at. Truth, justice, and righteousness associated with an African goddess that goes all the way back to the Kushites. Especially when you see the artwork and see the early Kushites with the feather and our Kushite Nubian paintings are identical to our brothers and our sisters, in the Kushite region in the southern part of Ethiopia. Also, we see Hotep, the Hep tribe Hotep, over 4,000 years ago of the 11th dynastic period, who was a Wasetian. So these are the jet black kings who were the Kushites of Kemet. That's why they were from the south, or from Waset, that is now called Luxor, today called Thebes by the Greeks. And we see that Nima-Atra, Amenhotep III of the 12th dynastic period, 1843 to 1797, was also Wasetian. You can see his locks thousands of years ago. Almost 4,000 years ago, wearing the locks, which is a tradition and culture that came up out of the Nile Valley of ancient Kushite Ethiopia. So these are the jet black kings who were the Cushites of Kemet. That's why they were from the south, or from Waset. It is now called Luxor, today called Thebes by the Greeks. These are the jet black kings who were the Cushites of Kemet. That's why they were from the south, or from Waset. It is now called Luxor, today called Thebes by the Greeks.
Now right there, that's our brother hotep. He came down there, and if I'm not mistaken, in the 12th dynasty. And he reconquered after an intermediate period. Kemet fell into chaos. And the brothers out of Waset had to come down there and make that correction. The Intel, that's where Ashra Quasi named, Seti Intel. He was of the bloodline of the Intel. They were Wasetian king and prince. Anytime Kemet fell into chaos, the push to reunify Kemet always came from the south. The first was Nama, the second was Hotep, the third was Amos, and the fourth was Pi'am. All right then. The Scimitar, the unifiers of the land. Remember that. He's Nubian. The Egyptians are Nubians. And the brothers out of Waset had to come down there and make that correction. The Intels, that's where Ashra Quasi named, Seti Intel. He was of the bloodline of the Intels. They were Wasetian king and prince. Anytime Kemet fell into chaos, the push to reunify Kemet always came from the south. The first was Nama, the second was Hotep, the third was Amos.
So these are the jet black kings who were the Cushites of Kemet. That's why they were from the south, or from Waset. It is now called Luxor, today called Thebes by the Greeks.
We came from the beginning of the Nile, where God happy dwells at the foothills of the mountain of the moon.
When you understand the culture and the various brothers and sisters like the Romos, who are also called the Gala, who are the largest group in Ethiopia. And then we see the Tigrinya, which is spoken in Tigray province of Eritrea of Ethiopia. And we look at the culture of that area. We can see our Tigrian sisters who have their hair back. And then the Somali from the Agadon region of the largest Muslim group. And then the Somali from the Agadon region of the largest Muslim group. And then the Somali from the Agadon region of the largest Muslim group. When you understand the culture and the various brothers and sisters like the Romos, who are also called the Gala, who are the largest group in Ethiopia. When you understand the culture and the various brothers and sisters like the Romos, who are also called the Gala, who are the largest group in Ethiopia. And then the Somali from the Agadon region of the largest Muslim group. As we look and see the Hafar region, nomads of northeastern part of Ethiopia, and we see here, this is in the eastern region of Ethiopia. So we see a very diverse group of brothers and sisters as we look at the far and see the Afar region, the nomads of northeastern part of Ethiopia, and we see here, this is in the eastern region of Ethiopia. So we see a very diverse group of brothers and sisters as we look at the Afar, as we look and see the Afar region, the nomads of northeastern part of Ethiopia, and we see here, this is in the eastern region of Ethiopia. So we see a very diverse group of brothers and sisters as we look at the Afar. You don't even know that your genetic memory bank gave you that hairstyle. You know, you naturally start getting African braids, you start to look like some of the brothers and sisters on the African continent that Mary Rod's going to show you as well. That's showing an African genetic memory bank that's taking place as we see our Tigrayan brother here. It's identical with the hairstyle, also with ancient Kush. One African culture of the African Nile Valley that we're speaking of here. When you understand the culture and the various brothers and sisters like the Romo, who are also called the Gala, who are the largest group in Ethiopia. As we look and see the Afar region, the nomads of northeastern part of Ethiopia, and we see here, this is in the eastern region of Ethiopia. So we see a very diverse group of brothers and sisters as we look at the Afar.
So all these phenotypes, all of these phenotypes are African. That's African. Quit lying, goddammit. Every phenotype you see on this planet, we was able to produce before any of them red races came along. We produce them right here in our own race. So all these phenotypes are African. That's African. Quit lying, goddammit. Every phenotype you see on this planet, we was able to produce before any of them red races came along. We produce them right here in our own race. Look at, this is Meroruka. This is Meroruka. Now Meroruka was in the New Kingdom. I got to get the date on Meroruka. See the locks? See the locks? That's African. That's African. Matter of fact, Dr. Ben says Meroruka is Ramesses II great-grand-uncle. Okay? That's Ramesses' great-grand-uncle. Okay? This is what you see down in the Greco-Roman area. Now, when the Greeks came into Egypt, where did they set up? They set up right there on the Mediterranean at Alexandria. Why did they do that? Because the Africans hated their ass. They couldn't come down south.
Identical with the hairstyle, also with ancient Kush. One African culture of the African Nile Valley that we're speaking of here.
I've been looking this way ever since I remember, and it ain't gonna change, so I don't care what them people say. I will forever be this way.
It's identical with the hairstyle, also with ancient Kush. One African culture of the African Nile Valley that we're speaking of here. It's identical with the hairstyle, also with ancient Kush. One African culture of the African Nile Valley that we're speaking of here.
I've been looking this way
identical with the hairstyle, also with ancient Kush. One African culture of the African Nile Valley that we're speaking of here.
Look at, this is Meroruka. This is Meroruka. Now Meroruka was in the New Kingdom. See the locks? That's Africa. That's Africa.
I've been looking this way ever since I remember, and it ain't gon' change. So I don't care what them people say. I will forever be this way. I will forever be this way.
Look at, this is Meroruka. This is Meroruka. Now Meroruka was in the New Kingdom. See the locks? That's Africa. That's Africa. That's what that is. Do you think his damn hair is blue? It's symbolisms. This is what that is. That science was in
I've
Kenya.
been looking this way ever since I remember, and it ain't gon' change. So I don't care what them people say. I will forever be this way. I will forever be this way.
And we see that Nima Atwa, Amenemhet III of the 12th dynastic period, 1843 to 1797, was also Wasetian. You can see his locks thousands of years ago, over almost 4,000 years ago, wearing the locks, which is a tradition and culture that came up out of the Nile Valley of ancient Kushite Ethiopia.
I've been looking this way ever since I remember, and it ain't gon' change. So I don't care what them people say. I will forever be this way. I will forever be this way.
We're going into our Africans. This is who we are. See the crown? See the crown? This is where it comes from. Most of the crowns were designed off of African hairdos. See that? And you got this blank. Niggas talking about the crown came from somewhere. Come on, nigga, shut up.
I've been looking this way ever since I remember, and it ain't gon' change. So I don't care what them people say. I will forever be this way. I will forever be this way.
See that? Shay Diop brought that out. See that hairdo? That's the war crown. And we got war crowns. That means we went to war. See that? Shay Diop brought that out. See that hairdo? That's the war crown. And we got war crowns. That means we went to war.
I've been looking this way ever since I remember, and it ain't gon' change. So I don't care what them people say. I will forever be this way. I will forever be this way. I've been looking this way ever since I remember, and it ain't gon' change. So I don't care what them people say. I will forever be this way. I will forever be this way. I've been looking this way ever since I remember, and it ain't gon' change. So I don't care what them people say. I will forever be this way. I will forever
Okay, see the waves for the young queen? I want to, you know, I want to talk to the young queen so she can see right there. You know, that boy banging right there, both of them. But what I'm saying, you can see the Africanness. You can show it. This is you. You understand? So Egypt is at least 3,000 years older than the first European, and Egypt is a baby on the Nile. Okay? So, but what I'm showing right here is that we've been rocking them for a mighty long time. That's because that's how, you know, our hair, you know, when we brush them and shit, it goes down into the spiral. And it curls in the spiral all the time. And so it's just like an antenna. You understand what I'm saying? This is the basis of our antenna. Again, see this one? See, and you know they waves, because they go down to the nape of his neck. There it is, showing you the culture. We're not just spewing no information, we're showing our people that this is them. See the locks? See the locks? And they fat too. That's our African. You see what they did? When they knocked the nose off. When they knocked the nose off. Look at that, Queen T, our African goddess, Queen, the wife of Amenhotep III. This is the mother of Akhenaten, the mother of Akhenaten. And so this is the 18th dynasty. You're looking at the princely lot. When you see that, you see the princely lot. That brother right there is Ramesses II. He's next in line to be king. When you see that, that's who's next in line to be king. You see it coming up out of the south. We can show you where the practice is still going on in Africa. It's not, Egypt is, a lot of people talking about, you know, I hear these people talking about classical African civilization. Classical means that's Greek, that's Greco-Roman. It ain't nothing classical, it's still living. This is a living culture that still exists. Africa has been bomb rushed. Africa has been attacked, an overwhelming attack, destruction. So it don't look like it used to look. But many of the cultural practices is still in existence. You just got to go and look, you got to see, you got to search, you got to make the comparative study. You got to search for yourself, because they done rape our minds of everything that belonged to us. Our deities, our names, our culture, everything that they took it. See the feather? And you see the feather right there in our queen and our sister's head in Africa, which they call the Hamer tribe. You can look that up, the Hamer tribe. H-A-M-E-R, Ethiopia, Ethiopia. You see the red ochre, and when you see, they use it in Egypt. When you look on the walls and you see the brothers and sisters painted red, it's the red ochre. So you can see the cultural practices that are still in our people. So we know that the source of Egypt came from the south, that the Africans are the originators of the pyramid, of the temple, of all the science, technology, medicine, architecture, spirituality, all that can be called civilization came from the Africans. See the feather? And you see the feather right there in our queen and our sister's head in Africa, which they call the Hamer tribe. You can look that up, the Hamer tribe. H-A-M-E-R, Ethiopia, Ethiopia. So that's why they red. It's a symbol, it's red, it's brown. As you look in here, you see all these colors? African people have always had this diversity of colors. Ain't no one damn color in no people of African descent. We always had light-skinned Africans. You could produce an albino. You could produce a yellow man, a red man, a brown man, and a black man.
All of a sudden, when they tried to say, well, these are not black people here, these are actually black Caucasians. Although they're black Caucasians. This is part of the psychopathic racism to remove anything that's relevant to Africa somewhere else, or change even the identity of the people.
See, I aim with precision, point blank the position. I'm black as them ancient Egyptians. Before European historians wouldn't change the description.
Egyptians are black. The real Egyptians are black. Because the real Egyptians, they are real Africans. So those people in Lower Egypt, you see, in Cairo, Alexandria, and the Falahins area, they were mixed between the Turkish, Mamluks, French, English, Romans. So those people who come to attack Egypt in that time, they couldn't come to Upper Egypt, to the south, which we still have the same color, our dark color or black color. So they couldn't mix with us. Nubians and the Egyptians, they were not white. They are black Africans. So he say now, ليه هنا الناس لسه سمر في الصعيد وفي بحري بيض.
بحري دولة مش أصلا مش أساس مصر خالص.
He say the people in Lower Egypt, most of them they are not Egyptians. They are Greeks, Francois.
Now these is you can tell these is the Greek, the Greco-Romans. These are what you find down in Lower Kemetic. Okay? See that? You ain't rocking no shit like that. And look at the blue eyes and shit. You can tell them. You understand what I'm saying? So they hide that from us. They hide that from us. They don't make the comparisons like that. So you can see the difference between the European. Now look at this. You see, this is Nar. This is the first king of Egypt. Now if I say Kemet, that's what the Africans called it. The agriculturalists called it Kemet. But the brothers of the craft called it Tamari. Okay? And so what I'm saying is you can still see the culture that is practiced amongst our people. You see this? This is what that is. Okay? And so this is what it is, showing you that the brothers came up out of the south. And we understand that Nama was from up out of the south. He came down to reunite Kemet. He didn't unite Kemet, he reunited Kemet. Because Lower Kemet has always been a part of Africa. Okay? It's not separate from Africa. At that point in time, a lot of foreigners had came down there and settled in Lower Kemet. And they began to raid up in Upper Egypt. They began to rape and rob the villages in Upper Egypt, right on the peripheral of Upper and Lower Egypt. And so the brother had to come down there and set it straight. He had to come down there, conquer, reunite Kemet, and push the foreigners out. And so you see, this is Osiris. And you see on the papyrus that he's black. Okay? Just showing you who Osiris is. Just showing you who Asa is. He's come from the south where our brothers and sisters come from. What does the papyrus of Hunefer state? It says, we came from the beginnings of the Nile, where God happy dwells at the foothills of the mountain of the moon. Okay, let's move on. See this? See the Ethiopian queen? See the hairdress? See the hairdress? See the saturations in the hair net? See them up at the top? See what I'm saying? This is what it is. We can put our culture today side by side with the ancient culture and show you where it's still a living practice. It ain't went nowhere. You have to go back and look. This is our Menehat, all right? 1842, 1797 BCE. He's a Sim priest. See the African, see the locks? See the African locks right there? Showing you that, you know, it didn't start in Jamaica. It didn't start with Rastafarians, and I'm not hating on them, but it didn't start there. You understand what I'm saying? You can go all through Africa and see locks. This is something that's ancient amongst our people. We got to show our people that we are the fathers and mothers, and we have no business imitating children.